Gemini. Hey, Gemini. This is a peek into the year 2022, and I'm uploading these readings, these first four readings, the day of New Year's, the day of Christmas Eve. And the day of Christmas Eve is also called the Feast of the Seven Fishes. It's a tradition, an Italian-American tradition. And although in Italy they don't call it that, but indeed on the evening of the vigil, let's say the eve of Christmas, the 24th, the dinner is laid out with 7 different kinds of fish. And so it's typically a fish dinner. It's sort of a prelude to fasting from meat. And so that's that. So it's Christmas Eve and the 7 fish festivities. All right, so let me start reading for you, Gemini, and I will lay this mini grand tableau that I have devised because this is the way I like to read it. I divide the year into trimesters: January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, and December. So let's see. First, I'll talk about the different trimesters and what I'm looking at for you here. The first 3 trimesters of the year, we have a little bit of a rolling roller coaster ride that I see. January coming in, absolutely fantastic, Gemini. You get paid. Money comes your way. It may be trickling down from the holidays, but it is money in the pocket that hadn't been there for a while. Then you use, let's say you use your language skills, your talk to get you influence these 3 months, January, February, and March. And sometimes your mouth will get you into hot water. That's what I'm looking at in the first 3 months, but not so when it's done with some witnesses. So if you're face to face with a person and you are talking about something, it's best to have witnesses here, and you'll be okay. But when you can, scribat manat verba volant, meaning that speaking, the words go to the wind. But if you have written documents, that will be black on white and give you more of a satisfaction and more legal protection. So the first 3 months, money coming in and a roller coaster up and down in terms of your communication with others. Now, second, March, April, May, and June. April, May, and June. Quite interestingly, many of you may be in line for a wedding during these 3 months, Gemini. A few of you may be in line for a wedding, or you may be in someone else's wedding. You're going to be in a friend's wedding. In any case, this is it evolves around you having to do with an institution. And I don't see any hospitals here, which is fantastic. I don't see any knowledge institutions like schools, universities. No, I'm seeing it as if it were a municipality for weddings or a church. Also, what's interesting here for me to see is that you're going to be called to make a decision. Just a minute, let me take a look. Then... Yeah. Okay. So you're going to be called in the second trimester, April, May, and June, to make a decision at the very tail end, towards June, end of May, beginning of June, and it's going to be about work, a decision concerning work. You'll get communication in that respect. Then we go into the third trimester, which is July, August, and September. And for the Northern Hemisphere, the warmer weather, July, August, and September, begins with a mountain of difficulties. This is what you think. Oh my goodness, insurmountable problems. But then, lo and behold, you have a male that comes to your aid, a very good friend who will help you ease the pain, so to speak, help you to see that what you are seeing as a mountain is only a molehill. Really, no problems at all. I see many of you traveling at the end of this period, probably just close to September or in September. I see the travel or vacation that many of you may go on a cruise, but that is in the third quarter. July, August, September, and most likely end of August and early September. The last 3 months of the year, October, November, December, I find here that there will be just, how can I say, there's the August and the fall and the dark season. The leaves are falling in the northern hemisphere, and it's becoming warmer in the southern hemisphere. But it is nonetheless a trimester of change, of serious change. You'll see that people you know are no longer there. Older members of the family, older siblings, older friends, they're just not there. And, a little bit of nostalgia seeps in. I do see matters of the heart emerging as very prominent towards the end of the year, late November, beginning of December, and communication in that respect. This is where those of you who have put yourselves out there for some kind of site, some kind of matchmaking profile, application, and it bears its fruit. Now, each of these positions of these cards is sitting on a house, and everyone has a different meaning. So I'll start with the first. The first house here is a house of endings and beginnings. The endings and beginnings in your life in 2022 will evolve around money. I'll give you an example. Those of you who maybe have lost a relative, there'll be an inheritance involved, and that definitely signs and marks an ending. Those of you who may be beginning a new job will be motivated because there is money involved, some kind of stocks or bonds that are going to be put on your contract as a benefit and will really make it worth your while. So that is a very prominent area for the year 2022. And the area of surprises has to do with institutions. Now, we did mention just before about weddings and churches and the municipality. There are surprises in store for you linked to institutions, linked to some form of institutional power. There may be a friend who says to you, look, I've decided, she and I have decided to elope, or we are ready to take the big step. And the area of your life that has to do with endings, complete endings, are going to be difficult for you to take. They will be difficult for you to swallow and to accept. You can no longer bear the idea that someone's no longer there for you, or that you've put an end to a long-standing job that you've had, a long-standing position that you've held for so long, or the end to a marriage. Those are things that will bring you much, much sadness that year. Then there is the House of Communications. Now, the House of Communications here shows me that you are definitely closing one door and opening another, and in a very important way. It will be your choice. It will be your choice, and not only that, as you do end something, you really end it. You close the door and leave it behind. For example, you end a relationship. It's no longer just a matter of separation. You get a divorce. You definitely want to call it a day. You definitely want to end your relationship with a business partner and you divvy up all of the proceeds, for example. But it is no longer to be going forward. Now, there is an area of your life that has to do with work and livelihood. Now, that's where there's going to be a lot of talk around that area. A lot of talk, you to others and others toward you, because your work is a very prominent and important aspect of your life in 2022. There is an area that has to do with a sense of security. Now, this sense of security is going to come to you from surprising areas, from surprising places. When you least expect it. See, the sense of security in 2022 will never be a point of concern. You will feel safe. You will feel secure. You will feel as if the foundation that you lean on, the foundation that you have, that you're standing on, is very, very secure. And it's basically due to all of the work you have been doing and the shifting and sliding, moving, applying and going, interviewing that you've done up until that time. There is a house that talks of guidance. Now, I see here that in terms of guidance, you will be leaning on a male. And a male could be a consultant, could be a parent, could be a sibling, could be a lover, could be a companion or a partner in some way, but it is a male who will help you in terms of big guidance issues where you really will need to have another person give you their insight. Then there are matters of the home. And matters of the home here in 2022 are very mature, very safe. You know what you're doing. You have no qualms about staying in the place where you're living. If you want to change, you do so without even blinking an eye. That is something that is calm for you. It's a decision that doesn't require you much effort. Now, there's also a house that has to do with public life. Now, your life in public, the way you move around, the way you find your way, where you go to get information, this is going to cause you a little bit of strife, a nuisance type of strife, nothing big, but is you go to an office, they ask you for a document you had forgotten home, or they had asked you for one document, but it's not the right document. You have to go back. So these kind of nuisances, they're easily resolved and you can move forward. Now we have a house that concerns obstacles in your life in 2022 will be resolved in a very, very sly way. You will use your intellect and your cunning nature, really getting around problems and loopholes, looking at loopholes and how you can use the law or use clauses to your advantage. It's a way, it's not necessarily your nature, Gemini, but you see that the way you look at an issue and the way you look at how to resolve an issue are two different things. And sometimes if you skew your view, if you slant your eyes, you can find another way. And you do this with a cunning nature, with a cunning side to you. Then we have decisions. All right, so life is life, and we do have to make decisions every day. There was a philosopher who said, well, what is life? Life is a matter of life is a series of decisions that we make. And I have to side with them because especially in this case, decisions that you make in 2022 are very easily made, because it looks like you're well disposed to take on any decisions. You have, like I said before, the earth very sound pat under your feet. Your sense of security is strong. You don't fear anything, and it's easy for you to move forward, especially even in difficult decisions that come forward to you. Then we have those nuisances, the house that talks of problems, the house that talks of issues that may cause you mm, to spend some sleepless nights and to think of how to solve and give answers to things you're not exactly sure about. And it is related to, they are related to matters of the heart. Now, there is this voice, this word called ghosting, and it's, I'll use it here. One of the issues as an example, they're ghosting me. They don't, they come, we see each other, we spend the day, we even spend the night, and then they disappear. And that is a nuisance, and I'm seeing that as a type of nuisance. So the trick here, Gemini, is that you cannot change the way they act with you, but you can change the way you react to that. And that's what the cards are telling you, to take a look and change the way you react to those inputs, those romantic inputs, matters of the heart. Then we have the area of the spread that talks about things being hidden. And I have here things being hidden, but they're in plain sight. Things being hidden, but you see them right before your very eyes. Things that are hidden from you are found in the public. And let me refer to the matters of the heart, for example. The answers that you're looking for, instead of looking within and thinking they probably ghosted me because of this, and that, the issue here, and the cards are suggesting, is that you discuss these problems, these worries that you have with people in the public. Go to a local bar, go to a friend's house and ask them about what they think. And they give you a different input and a different take on what you feel, which will help you in 2022. Then we have the area of communication. There was a house that dealt with communications, but this is the house that talks of matters of communication. Well, here is quite an interesting situation, because the way, just like I have said about how you react, you can't control how people act toward you, but you can control how you react. That is what this house is talking about. It's talking about making a decision every time something that you feel is a nuisance, matters of the heart. You make a decision as to how you wish to communicate with them. They're ghosting you, but you have the option to act differently, but reflect before you do. Then we have the house of male influences, or your male side, the male side to your life's story. And here we have a lot of changes here. Things that are typically male activities for females or males, having to do with paying the bills, work, management, things that are practical, things that have little or no, if it's possible, little or no emotional tie to it, any ties linked to that. And I'm seeing here they're going to be flowing quite smoothly. You're going to give it a little bit of an emotional side to it. And many of you will decide to take a trip suddenly, a sudden trip from your work. And it is going to help you tremendously if you're able to wing it. The last card that I have in the last house are female influences. And here I have the letter, the card, the letter. And this talks of communication with females, of course. Whether you're a male or a female, this talks about communication, written communication. Now, there is a difference between written and oral communication. And when I see the written communication, it is written. Things need to be put in writing if it involves a female. Now, Of course, we can refer to that a story about the house of nuisances and problems, matters of the heart. If it involves a woman, things are best put in writing. It's quite interesting. Now, there are a couple of things else more that I want to point out, and very clear is the issue that you have to make matters of the heart, decisions in matters of the heart, the way you communicate with them. Your sense of security may be may slightly become undone when you feel that someone in your life is no longer there. That's when you feel that, oh my God, they were a rock for me. There's also oral communication. Again, I'm seeing it as linked to potential difficulties. So you want to be careful what you say. Um, Money coming in, yes, and it's linked to a male as well. Also, that trip that I mentioned, you might want to think twice of the season that you decide to travel in, because depending on the season, there might be some issues that you'll have to contend with in terms of your planning. That's it, Gemini. I hope this was of help. Namaste and have a great Christmas Eve if you're reading this today. Bye bye, ladies and gentlemen. Gemini friends. Bye bye.